This next unit is over transformations. A transformation is any motion that you do to an object through translation, rotation, reflection, or dilation. It's changing an object by moving it, rotating it, flipping it over, or by scaling it up or down. In isometry, there are 3 of the 4 that are considered isometries. An isometry is an image that maintains its size and its shape. It may change locations, but it will not change its size and it doesn't change its shape. That is called an isometry. So a pre-image is the image before it moves. It's an image before the transformation. It is typically noted, say for instance, triangle A, B, C would be the pre-image, where triangle A prime, B prime, C prime would be the image. And it is the image or the shape after the transformation. So we are going to focus today on translations. So a translation is a slide. It's got that SL in translation to help you remember that it slides. So we are going to be sliding an object in the X or Y direction. Translations can be written in a couple of ways. So we can have a rule that would say X, Y is translated through X plus A, Y plus B. That's one way to write the rule. Or we can also write it in vector notation, where it looks like this. So this will be how you see it with Pearson. It'll have a capital T and then it'll have that little vector A, B, and A is in the X direction and B is in the Y direction. We will typically see it in our notes and on our quizzes and tests as a rule where we write X plus A and Y plus B. So let's look at some translations. The original coordinates of this triangle, we'll go ahead and write those down to make this a little bit easier. We have -2, 2 for A. We have B is at 4, 4. And we have C is at 3, -4. Because everything will be based off of where its original location is. So we have our pre-image, that's our pre-image. I want to translate up 4 units. Well, translating up 4 units would be changing our Y value because up and down is our Y value. And so if we only change our Y value, then our new image of A goes to -2, 6. Our image of B is at 4, 8. And our image of C is at 3, +2. So our rule then would be written, our X doesn't change, so we don't add anything to our X value, and then our Y value would be Y plus 4. Actually, I'm sorry, that would be, I was adding 6. Should be 0, I apologize. So we would add 4 to our Y value. So 2 plus 4 is 6, 4 plus 4 is 8, -4 plus 4 is 0. And that's how you would write the rule. Now, notice on this next one, I'm going to rewrite A here so I can see it when I go to my next page. Okay, so that's my original pre-image. Now notice this is a double prime. That means it's going to change twice. So actually, I want to go back to my original, to my second image. So I'm going to go from here to here. So from -2, 6. Now I want to translate down 6 units. So I know that it's double prime because so I want to go from the change. So I changed it and then I'm going to change it again. That's what that double prime means. So I'm going to go down 6. So my x value stays the same, and I'm going to go down 6 from 6. My b double prime, I'm going to stay the same in my x direction. I'm going to go down 6 from 8. And then my c double prime, I'm going to stay the same in my x direction, and I'm going to go down 6 from 0. So my translation rule would be that xy becomes, x stays the same, and my y value is going to go down by 6. Now, my a triple prime, again, I'm going to continue to work off of the rule previous, because now we're in our third prime. So I'm going to go to the left 3 units. So remember that when we go to the left, we are subtracting. Up and to the right are positive. Down and to the left are our negative or subtracting. So we started at -2. I'm going to go to the left 3. So if I go to the left 3 more from -2, I'm going to be at -5. My y value is going to stay the same. 3 to the left from 4 would be 1. My y value stays the same. And 3 to the left from 3 would be at 0, and my y value stays the same. And so my rule then is x minus 3. I'm going to take my x value, I'm going to subtract 3, which will send me to the left, and then I'm going to say the same for my y value in this case. And now we have we're going to continue with that one because now we have 4 primes. So we're going to use our previous one again. So I'm going to go to the right 5. So I went -5 to the right 5 would be +5. So now I'm at 0, 0. From 1 to the right 5 would be at 6, 2. And from 0 to the right 5 would be at 5, -6. So that rule would be x plus 5 change in the x direction, and there was no change in the y direction. Now, if we go back to our original image of -2, 2, 4, 4, and 3, -4, then we're going to do this. We're going to go back to our original pre-image, and we're going to do both. So we're going to, and let's go ahead and write the rule. So our whole rule would be xy becomes, it's to the left 4, so it would be -4. So I'm going to subtract 4 from my x values. And 5 down means I will subtract 5 from my y values. So now we can go back to our original and we can perform this translation. So -2 minus 4 is -6. 2 minus 5 is -3. Now for B, 4 minus 4 is 0, and 4 minus 5 is -1. And then C would be 3 minus 4 is -1. And -4 minus 5 is -9. So basically, if you can imagine, a translation looks like you've laid a piece of paper on the table and you just slide it over. That's a translation. And we break it into our horizontal and our vertical components. If I want to translate it up 6 from there, I can tell that it's from there because now it's double prime. So that's from this changing the change. So I'm going to translate it up 6. Now be careful, up 6 and to the right 8. Be careful that you pay attention to the order it's written in. So let's write this rule so that we don't get that backwards. XY becomes, our x and y values become x plus 8 and y plus 6. Be careful that you pay attention to those words up, right, left, down. It's not always going to be your horizontal direction is first and your vertical direction is second. So if we go from our previous pre-image, then if I add -6 plus 8 is 2, -3 minus 6 is 3, 0 plus 8 is 8, -1 plus 6 is 5, and then -1 plus 8 is 7, and -9 plus 6 is -3. So my end result would be that my image is at 2, 3, 8, 5, and 7, -3. So all we're doing is going up and down, right and left, and adding and subtracting numbers to those values. So what is the image translation of triangle RFC with coordinates 0, -6, -9, 0, and -12, -5 that undergoes a translation, that's what that T means, of 4, -1. Now we can rewrite that as this rule, xy becomes x That's a positive 4, x plus 4, and y minus 1. So that's another way that you can look at the rule. There's the same thing. So if we go back to our pre-image and we undergo this translation, then r prime will be at 0 plus 4, which is 4, and negative 6 minus 1, which is negative 7. F prime would be negative 9 negative 9 plus 4 is negative 5, and 0 minus 1 is negative 1. And C prime, the image of C, goes to negative 12 plus 4 is negative 8, and negative 5 minus 1 is negative 6. Now you can see that the mistake that you're going to make is adding and subtracting positive, negative, and negative numbers. Okay, this last one, the translation of triangle APQ. And so we have already undergone it. Pay attention. Look, these are our image. They have been changed. A prime, P prime, Q prime, those are changed. They've already undergone the change. That's the end result. If the coordinate of A, which was the pre-image, I can tell by the notation that this is the pre-image. Okay, so you have to pay attention to that notation. This is the pre-image. What are the original pre-image coordinates of P and Q? If A prime, P prime, and Q prime are our image, then what were our pre-image coordinates? That's what this is asking. So you look, what did it take to go from A to A prime? Well, the rule that we underwent is our XY values became, to go from 7 to 11, I have to add 4, so it'd be X plus 4. And to go from negative 10 to negative 11, I would subtract 1 more. So this is the translation that it underwent to end up with that end result of the points that we were given. So my original P then, I need to go the opposite of that. So I need to back up. So I added 4 and subtracted 1 to get from A to A prime. So I would need to subtract 4 and add 1 to get my original P. So my original P started at negative 7. I would need to subtract 4 to get back to my original. So it started at negative 11. And then it ends at 6. It underwent minus 1, so I need to add 1 back. So it started at 7. So P originally started at negative 11, 7. If you go back and double check it, negative 11 plus 4 is negative 7, and 7 minus 1 is 6. Q underwent that same transformation, so I take the negative 9, that's where I ended up. If I subtract 4 from that, I get where I originally started. And it ended up at negative 13. If I add 1 to that, then I end up at negative 12. So double check, do a quick double check. If you go back through the transformation, 5 plus 4 is 9, which checks out, and negative 12 minus 1 is negative 13, which checks out. So my original pre-image was at, P was at negative 11, 7, and Q was at negative 12. It's important to pay attention to what's your image and what's your pre-image, and pay special attention to those positives and negative numbers.